Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Air. So, let's just continue forward. She replied with seriousness. Let's assume that I'm right for a moment. We still can't make a move without knowing the location of the shrine in the south. You're right, she pondered. If Kana can remember something about the shrine, that would be the fastest solution. However, the only hope we had was unable to even even recognize a chicken. I sighed. I watched Kana, who was amusing herself with the beanbags. You're straying off again! She appeared to be scolding the 3 beanbags in her hands. The other 2 knows how to fly in the right direction. Why are you the only useless one? Such a dunce, Ruya. Stop naming your beanbag after me! Be quiet! You're making me lose focus! Whatever, just come over here. She trudged over reluctantly. What do you want? It's still too early for dinner. Is food the only thing on your mind? Do you remember anything about the time when you left your mother? Her expression immediately changed to one of annoyance. I told you so many times that I don't. It doesn't have to be anything about your mother. Anything will do. She held her chin and thought. Anything? Like the appearance of the first shrine you were at, or what you saw during your journey. I probed her with a sense of urgency. She finally seemed to have recalled something. When I was still a child, every journey to another shrine was a difficult one. They stuffed me in a bullock wagon and not let me walk outside. Well, that's to be expected. I had not heard of any noble who was expected to travel by foot. It was a bullock wagon they put me in. And what of it? It was steaming hot inside. I took off my clothes to keep cool, but they found me naked and made a big fuss. Are you really a noble? That was not what a girl should do, even for her age. There's more. My guards were all insolent fools. If I didn't follow their orders, they threatened to seal me in, adamantine, I think. Seal you in adamantine? That's apparently what they did to winged beings who disobeyed them. I was afraid because I didn't know better, she said with a faraway look in her eyes. But what is adamantine anyway? You still don't know any better even now. Adamantine is a jewel. It is said to be the hardest known substance, and yet the most beautiful thing in the world. Adamantine, huh? I had heard of that before, but I had not had the chance to see it for myself. I presumed that something of that caliber was needed to shut Kana up. So, how am I supposed to be sealed in that? I want to know that as well. You had it coming to you. You gluttonous, unreasonable, winged being! Hey, stop! Ah! Kana shrunk in size and got sucked into the adamantine. She could be released at will with an incantation, compact and handy. There was nothing more convenient than that. It would definitely be the go-to item for those who guard winged beings. Why do I get the feeling you're thinking of something insolent? That's just your imagination. Why did you hit me? Sorry, I sensed a threat coming, so I couldn't help myself. You! At that moment, Uraha shouted all of a sudden. Saruya! What now? Did you realize perhaps the shrine to the south might not be a Shinto shrine after all? Huh? It's possible that they dressed her in lowly clothing to hide her from prying eyes. Or even a Buddhist robe, perhaps. A Buddhist robe. Did she mean they could have hidden her in a Buddhist temple? Uraha stood up while I was still in a state of confusion. She spread out the map that had been left on the floor. This is the shrine that Lady Kana lived in, and this is the capital. If we cross the Ikaruga Mountains and look further south, Uraha pointed to a spot on the map. Adamantine lies here. That was in actuality a broad mountain range. I am stunned speechless. The answer Uraha arrived at hit me full force. Winged beings who disobey them will be sealed in adamantine. What did adamantine refer to? And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but that's how I'm saying it. Where is the shrine with enough powers to seal a demon? This is a sacred mountain to the Shingon Buddhists. Adamant Temple of Mount Koya. That night, I found myself unable to sleep. My mind was restless even though I had no immediate concern. Later, I had a strange dream. In the dream, Kana was looking at me with a grave expression. The moon was behind her. Her moist lips looked strangely inviting. Ruya. She whispered my name. Ruya! Ruya! When I opened my eyes, Kana's face was right in front of me. Her cheeks looked flushed, even under the dim moonlight. What's wrong? I sat up against the tree trunk. There's something I want to show you. It's embarrassing, but will you watch me? She put her hand into her clothes. Then she said, Here I go! What's that? I pointed to what Kana had just taken out. Beanbags. And what are you planning to do with them? I told you, these are beanbags. I got 3 of them to fly just a while ago. You don't believe me? I'm telling the truth. I really had them flying just now. Good night. Don't sleep! Let me sleep. I just fell asleep before you woke me up. Hey, don't sleep, don't sleep, don't sleep! Your master is going to demonstrate an amazing feat. Is it not your duty as a retainer to watch and revere? You can't be this unreasonable. My shout pierced the forest. This was truly a nightmare. Kana restored to her last measure. Then I command you. Hey, wait! I covered Kana's mouth in a hurry. That vow to not take another's life was already a great bother. I could not allow any more of those strange promises to be forced upon me. Holding down a struggling Kana, I began to feel the futility of everything I was doing. My sleepiness was long gone. All right, I understand. I'll watch you. Just get it over with. I released my hand. Kana glared at me. However, she seemed more interested to demonstrate her skills than yell at me at this point in time. Are you ready? Watch carefully. Kana sat down in front of me. Next, she held up her beanbags, ceremoniously. With her back straightened, she looked like a master of throwing beanbags. Hey! Aw! She did not succeed. She threw the second one too early, and her right hand could not keep up. I succeeded just a while ago. I'm going to try it again. Watch well. Sure, keep trying. She picked up her beanbags and steadied herself again. Hey! The beanbag flew over her right hand. But her left hand stopped moving. Too slow this time. I'm telling the truth. I really did it just now. I never said you lied. Calm down. Even a master can't succeed without keeping a cool head. All right. She breathed in and out deeply. Here I go. Go on. This time for sure. She released the beanbags into the air again. 1, 2, 3. Although clumsily, the beanbags were forming a circle in the air. See? I can really do it! However, the circle disintegrated. Sorry, I don't know why I was trying to read it differently. Disintegrated once she started talking. One of the beanbags brushed off her fingers and fell onto the ground. Aw. She looked around the sky. She picked up the beanbags in a daze and prepared to throw them once more. Then she noticed my gaze. I was able to keep them in the air longer the last time, she snarled at me. That was good enough. I don't need your consolation. I'm not consoling you. You must have put in a lot of effort just to be able to do that. I broke into a smile. That was not because Kana looked comical. I recalled the first time she started juggling beanbags. The beanbags had flown into the air like rocks back then. Since then, she had practiced day after day. I never thought she would get so good at this. It's amazing how you don't know when to give up. I can't tell if you're praising me or making fun of me. She sounded bothered. I'm praising you. At any rate, you've done well, Kana. I placed my hand on her head. Her hair was soft to the touch. I want to become better at juggling. You will become an expert if you practice every day. You're joking. I'm serious. Her doubtful expression turned into an awkward smile. Will you watch me juggle again? Definitely. I'm always here to watch whenever you will. But don't do this at night. You'll make Uraha worry. She nodded. All right. Well then, good night. Kana walked off into the darkness. I was left with the annoying, desolate sounds of the bugs. Time to go back to sleep. I leaned against the tree and closed my eyes with my arm around my sword. A wave of drowsiness washed over me. With this, I should fall asleep soon. Good morning, Sir Ruya. Whoa! This time it was Uraha's face which was right in front of me. You two were having so much fun. Her voice sounded heavy, as though it just crawled out of the depths of hell. I was so lonely by myself. You should have joined us. But I was waiting for you to call me over. I wanted so much to watch Lady Kana's juggling. She began to wail like a widow. She was just envious of me, that was all. She sure was. Sacred Mountain. The moon shone upon the land. Its faint radiance seeped into every corner of this forest without a name. Memories of that day came back to me. It was a hot and humid night back at the temple. Kana had murmured, I want to see her. Everything was set into motion that night. Exactly a month had passed since that day. We had reached the top of Mount Koya. We were within reach of the adamant temple. Where on earth is this? It's just forest wherever I look. What a boring scenery. Be quiet and keep walking. Adamant Temple is the collective name for the 100 or so temples on Mount Koya. Hence, the whole of Mount Koya is commonly referred to simply as Adamant Temple. We should be within Koya now. I would not be surprised to find patrols. I have a feeling we're going around in circles. That's just your imagination. Be quiet and keep walking. We had the same conversation for quite a while now. I was beginning to doubt myself. People get lost in mountains because they tend to rely too much on their surroundings to judge their location. However, I had been using the moon as our guide. There was no way we could be heading in the wrong direction. Something felt peculiar, or something still felt peculiar. The moon was unusually clear for a summer night. It was almost a full moon. Uraha, who was walking last, stopped suddenly. "What's wrong, Uraha?" "Sir Ruya, take a look at this." A hemp rope was tied around the thick trunk of a cedar tree. White strips of paper, spaced evenly apart, were hanging off it. A sacred rope. "It seems to me that someone had set up a barrier." What's a barrier?" "It's a divide to prevent the unclean from entering." "What's unclean?"
"Ghosts, vengeful spirits, gluttonous winged beings, and so on."
"Who are you calling gluttonous?"
"I didn't say that's you."
"Silence, please." I quickly covered my mouth after Uraha snapped at me with a sharp voice. Uraha was looking motionlessly at the darkness in front of her. She looked almost as if she had stopped breathing. Finally, she raised a sleeve and pointed in one direction. "This way."
"You know the way."
"It's my intuition." She smiled faintly. I exchanged looks with Kana. Uraha's actions were always incomprehensible. However, I believed her. And so we went deeper into the moonlit forest, following Uraha's lead. We spotted a few more hemp ropes along the way. The moon was occasionally visible on the left, occasionally on the right. My senses would have told me we were going around in a circle. All of a sudden, the moon became hidden behind the clouds. The forest also looked different. It was a jungle untrodden by humans. Curving branches blocked our path. A damp mist hung in the air like soft wool. The atmosphere was completely different from the forest we had been walking through a while ago. "This place feels creepy." Kana's voice distorted the air. I felt a certain pressure. I was not sure, if I could stand upright anymore.
"What's going on?"
"We've just entered the barrier."
"We're inside the barrier."
I took a step forward. Wet ferns clamped onto my feet and made it difficult for me to walk.
"Where should we go?"
Right after I said that, I smelled something. An alarm sounded off in my mind. I could recognize the scent anywhere. Something was burning. The smell of rusty metal, torches, hemp, and leather drenched in sweat and blood.
"Stay still and don't make a sound."
"What's wrong?"
"There's a battle going on up ahead."
High-pitched sounds were coming from beyond the mist. That was the sound of clashing swords.
"It's close." "No, it's far away."
I could not tell the distance to the source. This was the first time this was happening to me. Uraha and Kana came up close to my sides. I could not let these two worry. But I had no idea how to do that. Just then, the darkness in front of us receded. A strange feeling assaulted me as the space in front appeared to have been ripped apart. I forced open my closed eyes. Then I saw the outlines of people and their glinting blades.
"Run!"
I hurried back to them in the mist.
"Uraha, protect Kana!"
"Yes!" Uraha pulled out her dagger from within her clothes. At the same time, I drew my sword. 3 figures appeared before us. Each of them was about 6 feet tall. They were donning gray monk clothes and wearing long swords in black sheath. Their piercing gaze examined us from beneath their hoods.
"Koya's warrior monks."
These men were a motley of ruffians dressed in monks' clothing that guarded the entire vicinity of the Adamant Temple. They were well known for their fearlessness and their expertise in warfare. Moreover, they believe that they have Buddha's protection even after death. They were the kind of men to avoid fighting. 2 of them were armed with halberds, halberds, and the last one was holding a longsword. How did a rural samurai like you get in here? One of the hooded men holding a halberd asked in a gruff voice. We seem to have run into some foxes. No, more like raccoons. Say that again! The infuriated warrior monk stepped forward. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!